Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. We're going to have a nice little chat. We're going to start off with Mad About Plaid, which is what is on the calendar today. I wanted to talk about a designer who is also doing fabric that I just have fallen in love with, and I'm going to show you her fabrics and talk a little bit about them. And then we're going to talk about how to keep up. Several of you have written me recently about, how to do so many projects and how to not, how to stay on top of it and not lose track, and basically scheduling. Well, I want to walk you through a thought process on that. So anyways, let's do Mad About Plaid. Mad About Plaid. So first of all, plaid fabrics are I think they're an amazing addition to your collection. If you have not collected plaids, they come in and out. At one point when I was first doing a lot of my design work, plaids were in every single fabric line. Like every fabric line had a plaid in it. So you added those into the mix of other things. With your floral and your small prints, you also have a plaid. It's just a color that's used in there. And I did that, and that's how I use them. That's how I think about them. They're not like something special and specific that I just do plaid things. They are just a piece of fabric, a design element. It's a grid, and I use it with everything. Now I did put it, if you didn't notice, I will show you again. In the Happy Everything, I used the piece of plaid, this gray and yellow over here. Now I bought that gray and yellow piece at least 5 years ago. I bought about 4 pieces and really have never used them. Something to think about. So I finally was able to use that one. So plaid, plaid, plaid. Today, I would love for you to do 2 things about plaid. One is look at your actual fabrics you have. Do you have plaid fabrics? If not, why? And get some to add into your mix. The second thing would be to share a quilt that has plaids in it over at my community, a quilt along with Pat Sloan. So it's a public community. You can come as a visitor. So let's talk about fabric with plaids. And this is Kath, I'm not sure how you pronounce her first name, Kath, K-A-T-H-E, Kath Holden. So this is a bundle of her newest line called Woodsy. And we're going to look at that. She has and I got some extra pieces of it. Of course. But she is was a graphic artist, or is a graphic artist, who has gone more into designing other things, but she designed branding for big companies and packaging design, that type of thing. So that was her first career, and I guess she's I don't know if she does it anymore, but she's kind of on her second career where she does stencils and she does fabric lines now with Moda and does a bunch of other things crafting wise. And she's taking fabric, I'm just gonna she's taking, this was the easiest one to tell. She's taking like things that she collects. She collects all kinds of things and she's using them on the fabric. So here is like newsprint, which I think is wonderful. This Woodsy is a great collection for guys. So if you are looking for a guy collection, here she has for the guys who don't want flowers. It's like my mom's husband said, can you make me a quilt with no flower fabric? He has his mom's quilts. They're all very floral. So I made him one without any flower fabric. So there's like a wood grain. Look at that. Bookshelf quilts. Yeah. She has basket weave. Now I remember years ago there was a basket weave fabric, and like we all bought it and made tote bags or placemats or put it inside linings of bags, added it in our quilts. So this is really cool. Now she also adds a lot of plaids into her line. So here's for the Woodsy, she has these, and these are printed plaids. They're not woven. So the back side of it, here's the back and here's the front. So they're not woven. She also has a fabulous red, looks like hunters or something. And then she did this on navy, and there's a splatterware print that looks like this pottery, like splatterware pottery. So some of the other pieces in here, just to give a quick little look. And I'm going to also, while I'm talking about this, put a few of the projects up with this Woodsy. She did that cute little bag, which is totally free. So you can click the link in the description box. You can make a little bag. But here, like, she has this bird, like they're like bird cards. like cards that had the bird prints on them, and she's done ones with stamps with another line. See, look at that. Isn't that great? I guess I could put it down like this. I forgot, I tilted the camera. And then here's, like, she did the wood on beige. These are the other kinds that are sort of collage-y that I think are super fabulous. Look at that. So, whoops, upside down. So she's taken like the different things that she has purchased. Like here's cards. These are probably like greeting cards. There's like a button. You know, all these different parts, and built these collages. And she does, you know, like things like on her website or collage art. And here's another one with sort of postcards. So this is the type of fabric that she built. She did a flea market fancy, I think was her first one. Here's like postcards, which has like the writing. Look at that. All of this stuff, I've just become so excited about it. Another project that she has is that that star. Now some of these here, sorry, some of these are just the similar but in different colors, like the splatterware came in. I'm out of the camera again, sorry. Splatterware came in red. This print comes in red. There's a basket weave that's darker. That's really great. See, it's like that. I have baskets that look like that. That is so cool. Here's the plaid in gold. Let me show you this other print where these create fun prints. Anyways, she has super fun things. The link is below down to her fabric and those projects, but the bag is a free one. Look at the pennants. See this? Look, like she just put these things down and they made a collage, and then that became the fabric. So I just wanted to introduce you to her work. I thought it was pretty it's pretty interesting. I first saw it when her first line came out, and I've not really had a chance to play with any of it, so I thought I would get the Woodsy one and make something, including this pattern here, which is called the Flea Market Mix. And I think the Flea Market Mix is one that you wouldn't necessarily have to use her fabric. Any kind of fabric could go really great in the Flea Market Mix, particularly if you've got large prints in it. It's a great large print fabric pattern, and it's free, so that one's free. All right, let's talk a little bit about projects. projects. Several people, it's kind of got me thinking about it when Terry asked over in the Facebook group, you know, she said she's newly retired and what could I tell her about how I manage my projects. So first of all, let's get this out of the way. None of you want to manage projects the way I do. I'm a business. You know, I am working on this stuff 7 days a week, 9 to 10 hours a day is how I run my business. So that is not what you want to do. Yours is a hobby. You are working on your quilting as a hobby. So you need to approach it in an entirely different way than a person who is a business. You wouldn't look at a quilt shop owner and say, like, I want to quilt, just, you know, like use the schedule you have. Like, no, that's not what you want. You want a schedule that suits you and that is tailored to you. And there really is no other way to do that than to do a little bit of homework, because you have to understand yourself. There isn't like a blanket thing that says, okay, do this and you will magically be organized. That's not true, because everybody is so unique in your personality and how you approach things and how you want to approach things. So first of all, you need to understand how you use your time. And that might mean taking a look at, for a few days, and tracking what you do. Like, do you like to talk on the phone? So maybe you call somebody and, you know, a couple times a week you spend an hour or so on the phone. You know, do you like to watch a lot of television? So you might, or movies. You might be like, you just love movies, so you're always watching movies or TV, and at the same, so they take up time. Do you belong to organizations, maybe where you volunteer your time, or you're doing something, maybe you have a part-time job that takes up part of your time, or for those of you who are not retired, you have that whole day job, you know, that your whole job is taking up a huge chunk of your time, let alone your family time, your household time. So there's only so many hours left for the day, and you need to figure out those free hours that you can devote to quilting. How many are there? Do you have an hour a day? Do you have 3 hours a day? You know, how is your week structure? Maybe over the week you can see, okay, I kind of have 5 hours over the week to devote to quilting, or just, you know, when. But that's how you have to track your time. That's the first thing. You need to look at how you actually use your time now. The second thing is to understand how you use your time. Is that how you really want to use your time? So if you're watching a lot of movies, do you really want to be watching that many movies? Do you really want to spend every evening for 3 hours watching movies? Or would you rather quilt for 2 of those hours and watch movies for 1 hour? Or quilt for an hour and a half, watch movies for an hour and a half? Those are your choices and what makes you happy and what's fun for you. So you have to look at all of that and see how, now that you know, on number 1, now that you know how you use your time, on number 2, are you using your time the way you want to use it? All right, so those are kind of the tough things, because you need to analyze yourself. And if you've never done this, done any kind of time tracking, it's eye-opening. Sometimes it can be very eye-opening. You can look and say, okay, well, I spent, you know, so much time that I didn't realize on cleaning or movies or, you know, chatting with the neighbor, you know, that kind of a thing. Okay, next is number 3. Number 3, list all the quilts you're doing that have a hard deadline. Like you're making a quilt for a charity function. That's a hard deadline. You can't miss it. Unlike somebody's birthday, all of you have probably showed a picture to somebody. Here's your quilt, I'm making it for your birthday. You know, it's not done. But a charity, you can't miss it. They can't hold the function unless your quilt arrives. So there are things you have a hard deadline. Maybe you don't want to just show a picture of somebody's Christmas present. Maybe you want to have it wrapped up in the package, all done with binding on it and a label. So get your hard deadlines. How many are there? Write them down. Make a list. What are the deadlines? Then you have to break that part of it down. Say, in order to make Christmas, which is not that many weeks from now, how many hours a day do you have to work on these projects? You know, or what are your goals? Like, I need to have the top done by this day to get it to the long armor, you know, and then work back. Okay, if I need to have the top done, it needs to be halfway done by this time. You have to break out a schedule for yourself so you know you can meet that end deadline for the charity. And then, you know, and be very realistic. And number 4 is always be realistic. Our eyes are bigger than our abilities. I know mine are. It's just crazy big. I want to do everything. So know your abilities. And the things that you have now, number 5, the things that you have that are not a deadline, look at how you really want to work on them. This is your hobby. It should be fun. So if on your non-deadline things, you're like, okay, I'd like to work on that every week, or maybe once a month I want to work on that hexie project, or I'm only going to work on my hexies when I'm in the car driving, you know, or while somebody else is driving. You know, so take a look at all those non-deadline quilt projects and decide how much time you want to spend on them each month. If you even want to work on them for the month, or want to work on them anymore at all. Maybe you just don't. You just get rid of them. Okay, and then at the end, number 6 is look, now you have a list of things with a deadline and things without a deadline. And you know about how much time you have every day. You have 3 things, you know, deadlines, no deadlines, and how much time is left. So you can balance your work out. You might want to do something like put your projects in one of these books that are super great. So you have where you can track the project and list it. I love these. You also just might want a regular planner if you are into those. So like this is a new one that's out that I showed you the other day. This is just a regular planner. So you can, you know, do by day what you're going to do. And a lot of people like to track like that. Okay, my friend. That is the fun. Mad about plaid. So show me your plaid. I think this would make a great scarf. What do you think? Yeah? I think I could make a scarf out of that. Okay, my friend, I love you. Show me your plaid quilts. Mwah. See you online.